Hello students, I am Archana Asatkar from Government College Jobi. I am going to discuss today NMR resonance, nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy part 3. This is pictorial representation of NMR spectrophotometer by CW spectrophotometer method, and here you can observe that this is a sample tube and that sample tube is 5 mm glass tube and uniform diameter, and we can put some sample over here with TMS internal standard, and you can observe that this is radio frequency receiver and amplifier which is discovered surrounded red color foil. By using this we will flash that radio frequency wave on this sample, and these are sweeping coils, heavy magnets, and this is sweep generator. By using this we will generate a sweeping coil, and a solution of sample in uniform 5 mm glass tube is oriented the poles of this powerful between the poles of these powerful magnets, and is spun to average any magnetic field variation as well as tube imperfection. Radio frequency is radiation of appropriate energy is broadcast into the sample from an antenna coil. This is red color coil, and this is receiver coil, this one, and receiver coil surrounding the samples. This is surrounded the sample tube, and emission of absorbed radio frequency energy is maintained by dedicated electronic device, and this is dedicated electronic device and computer in which you will get the graph. And NMR spectrum is acquired by varying or sweeping the magnetic field, and for sweeping this magnetic field we are using these sweeping coils, and over a small range while observing of signal from sample. An equally effective technique vary the frequency vary the frequency of radio frequency radiation while holding the external field constant. So this is the actual NMR CW method spectrophotometer. So now students will discuss the chemical shift in detail as we discussed in our earlier part 2 lecture. The shift is the chemical shift is the position in the NMR peak from standard or reference material, that is TMS, due to shielding and deshielding effect by electrons and surrounding chemical environment or electrical environment effect is known as chemical shift. When the proton is present inside the magnetic field and more close to an electropositive atom, more applied field requires to cause excitation, and this effect is known as shielding effect. And when the same inverse when a proton is present outside the magnetic field close to an electronegative atom, less applied magnetic field is required to cause excitation, and this effect is known as deshielding effect. So greater the electron density around the proton, greater will be induced secondary magnetic field. Current induced by induced magnetic field results in secondary field which can either enhance or decrease the experienced field by proton. Here we will try to find out few reasons of chemical shift, and that is shielding and deshielding. So what is the effect of shielding and deshielding on chemical shift? Here you can observe here in this picture. So when we apply the magnetic field, when we increase the magnetic field in this direction, if the proton is surrounded with more electrons, it will be shielded and it will shift towards a field, and the chemical shift will be less. However, when the induced magnetic field will lesser than the applied external magnetic field, and the density around the or the electronic environment around the proton is less, that means, or if some electron withdrawing group is present around the proton or nuclei, it will feel de-shielding effect, it will feel less magnetic field, or it will experience less magnetic field which is actually applied. So the shift will be downshift field, and we will get more, we will get high ppm number or high chemical shift. So here we'll try to understand the induced magnetic field phenomena and its direction. So under the influence of applied magnetic field, electron bonded to the proton tends to processes around the nucleus and try to produce their own induced magnetic field, and they'll try to oppose this external magnetic field. Here I'm taking an example of benzene ring. So here you can see that this is a benzene ring. These are 6 proton which are associated with a benzene ring, and this is this red color is a electronic cloud. This pi electron is moving above the plane, above the benzene plane, and below the benzene plane. So you can see this pi electron cloud, and this moving pi electron uh, uh, moving pi electron direction. So this moving pi electron will create their induced magnetic field when we apply this external magnetic field. So the direction of external magnetic field is this, and these electrons are rotating in this direction, and they will generate induced magnetic field, and this induced magnetic field is we can see in this picture that this is moving in this direction. So this region, the plane, the proton which are attached with this benzene ring, so this region will be de-shielded. However, this above the plane region will be highly shielded, and this below the plane is at the same. Similarly, this below the plane will also be a shielded region. So let us try to understand the example of this toluene. So this all here, this is the benzene ring, and in case of this all 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, this all 5 protons would be in this plane. This sky blue marks is here, so they would be in this plane, and they would be de-shielded in however this toluene CH3, this 3 protons, this 1, 2 and this 3, all 3 proton would be occur found be in this shielded region, and we will get that this chemical shift value for these 3 protons will be higher. This will be upfilled, and the chemical shift will be less in terms of delta, but for these all it would be around 2.3 delta, or but however in this for this 5 proton we will find the chemical shift value would be approx 7 ppm or 7 ppm. So these all 5 protons are de-shielded, and you can observe the direction of de-shielding and induced magnetic field. So these all 5 protons are attached with the plane. That's why these all 5 protons, all 1, 2, 3. So these all 5 protons will be de-shielded, and these all 3 protons which will be found over here will be shielded. So let us explain the few properties of chemical shift. So chemical shift is a dimensionless chemical, and it is expressed in part per million, and we can express chemical shift in alternative scale, and that is tau scale. And tau, the equation for tau, between the relationship between tau and delta is tau is equal to 10 minus delta. And for to get the analysis, NMR analysis or NMR spectra, we used to take TMS as a reference for NMR spectra. TMS position for delta scale is considered at 0, and most of the protons chemical shift range from 0 to 10. So for proton NMR, we usually consider we will consider this term proton NMR or PMR or HNMR. And this for organic molecule, these two NMR are very popular or very common to detect the organic framework or organic molecular structure. or number of chemically equivalent proton or carbon. We used to uh, take these two spectroscopic NMR spectroscopy, that is proton NMR and C13 NMR. So here I will describe two kind of scale we usually consider for NMR spectroscopy, and that is delta scale and tau scale. So in case of delta scale and tau scale, thus here by using this picture you can observe that this is delta scale and start from 0 to 10, and this is tau scale, it starts from 10 to 0. This is just reverse of the delta scale. Tau scale is just reverse of the delta scale. If a small value of tau represents low field absorption, vice versa for delta scale, and high value of tau represents high field absorption, vice versa for delta scale. So if you get the small value for delta scale, suppose you are getting chemical shift 1 or 2, that means this is high field. This is upfield shift, that means the proton is shielded. However, if you are getting the chemical shift value 9 or 10, that means, or 7, that means the proton is de-shielded, because this is downfield shift. And to get the NMR spectra, TMS used as a standard, and CDCl3, if CDCl3 we are using as a solvent, so we used to measure the difference between CDCl3 peak and this TMS peak. If we'll find the difference between these two is 7.2, that means that our NMR spectra is calibrated. That means we are going in a right path to get the NMR spectra for sample. And now I will explain this tau scale. So this is just a reverse of the delta scale. It starts from 10 to 0, and as it is mentioned there, small value for tau scale, it means low field. This is low field or downfield shift, and high value for tau scale, it means high field or shielded region. Now we will see the measurement of chemical shift. So to measure the chemical shift of proton, there must be a standard or reference signal. So tetramethylsilane TMS considered as reference in NMR shift measurement, and as I discussed in earlier slide, but the TMS concentration should be 0.5%, and it should be added to the sample, and because we can directly add to the sample tube this TMS 0.5% TMS, that's why it is considered as an internal standard. So this is the structure of TMS. This is central molecule is Si-silane, and this all three silicon, and all four CH3 are attached with CH3 group or methyl group are attached with silicon. So the question might be arise in your mind that why TMS is used as a reference for NMR spectra determination. So these are the reason why TMS is considered as a reference or standard material. So here by observing the picture here, you can simply observe that silicon is attached with 4 methyl group, and each methyl group have 3 protons, and this all 3 proton nuclei, this all 3 6 and 9 and 12, all 12 proton nuclei are equivalent, and this proton 12 equivalent nuclei are uniformly shielded, and that's why these all 12 proton nuclei give a single intense signal. So, and TMS itself is a chemically inert nature. When we add this TMS in a sample, it does not react with a sample, and that is useful for us. And in the structure of TMS, you can observe that silicon at the center, and it is highly electropositive nature. The electronegativity of silicon is very less. So the shielding of equivalent proton in TMS is more than the other compound. So most of the signal comes in downfield direction. of these CH3 protons. And another specific plus point of this TMS is it is having low boiling point. Therefore, after having spectra, we can simply evaporate this TMS from our sample, and we can reuse our sample. So it is another useful point. And TMS is the next point is that the TMS is not, if the TMS is not suitable for aqueous solution, alternative we can use DSS for to record the spectra. So here we will try to understand what chemical equivalent protons are. So I am taking few examples. Let us see the example. This is CH3Cl. We will for CH3Cl, this in this molecule you can observe that three protons are here, and all these protons are attached with carbon, and this carbon is attached with chlorine, and these all three protons will have same chemical environment and electrical environment. That's why these all three protons will give only one NMR signal. And in the same way for CH3F, this all three protons are equivalent in nature because they all three are attached with carbon, and this carbon is attached with fluorine, and they all are chemically equivalent. That's why these all three protons will combinedly give only one peak in NMR proton NMR spectra. However, when we take the example of CH3, CH2 and Cl, here you can observe that these CH2 protons are not similar to this CH3 protons, because these CH2 two protons are attached with carbon, and in the right hand direction they are attached with chlorine. However, in left hand direction this carbon is attached with CH3 methyl group. However, this so that's why these two protons are similar, but they are different from this CH3 proton. And however, this CH3 three protons are uh, attached with carbon, and this carbon is attached with this CH2 carbon and then Cl. So these all three protons are similar in nature, and they will give one peak. These three proton will give one peak, and these two proton will give one peak. So but these three protons are differ from these two protons of CH2 group. So here you can observe when we to calculate this proton number of signal by this from this molecule. So we'll get that one from there here and one from this proton. So we'll get total 2 NMR signal for this molecule. However, in case of CH3, CH2, CH2Cl, these protons are similar in nature. So we'll get one peak from here and one peak from here, and these are similar in nature. So one peak from here. So if we will get one peak from here, one from here, and one from here. So total 3 peaks we will get in case of propyl chloride. Now let us take example of dimethyl ether. So in case of dimethyl ether, you will observe here these CH3 protons are will give one peak because they all are similar, because they attach with this carbon, and this carbon is attached with oxygen, and this oxygen is attached with CH3. Let us consider the example of this CH3. So these all three protons are similar in nature, and they will give one peak, and this all three protons are attached with this carbon, and this carbon is attached with oxygen, and this oxygen is again attached with one methyl group. That means this CH3 protons these CH3 protons are similar with this CH3 protons. So this all 3 plus 3 6 protons will collectively give one peak. So here you can observe one NMR signal. And same as in the case of diethyl ether, these two protons are similar in nature. So these two protons will give one peak, and these these 3 plus 3 these 2 plus 2 protons will give one signal, and these 3 and 3 signal 3 protons will connectively 6 protons will connectively give one signal. So totally we will get two signal, two NMR signals for these total 10 protons. Let us consider the example of benzene. So here you can see that C6H6 in benzene ring, the 6 proton will be attached over there, so we will get one peak. Let us try to understand, because all these protons are similar in nature, all 6 proton. If we will replace this proton by chlorine, we'll get chlorobenzene. We can replace this proton or this proton, it really doesn't matter. All these 6 protons are chemically equivalent in nature. Their chemical environment is same. So all these protons are chemically, all these 6 protons are chemically equivalent, and that's why we'll get one peak for benzene. Let us see the example of chlorobenzene or toluene. So here simply you can say for toluene, these 3 protons might be similar in nature, so this will give one peak. But in case of these all 5 protons are not. But in case of benzene, these all 5 protons are not similar. For ortho position, the ortho position are similar with each other, so we'll get one peak. And for meta position, this one proton, 2 protons, they will give one peak. And for para position, the chemical environment, it will give one peak. So total we will get 1, 2, 3 and 4 peak for toluene. So here we will get 4 peak. And similarly for chlorobenzene, this ortho proton will give one peak, and because they are close to chlorine, because they are in ortho position of chlorine, so they will face the same chemical environment. So these two electrons will give one peak, and these meta protons, which are in meta position to the chlorine, and that's why from this side they are attached with hydrogen and chlorine. And similarly this meta proton is attached with hydrogen, attached with this double bond, and this chlorine meta to the end, at ortho position they are having hydrogen. So these two protons are similar, and this two will give one peak. Here you can observe that one peak for two metaprotons, and for one paraproton it is ortho to the chlorine, and that's why it will face another kind of chemical environment as compared to ortho and metaproton. So this paraproton will give one peak, and thus totally for chlorobenzene totally we will get three peaks. So now we will calculate the chemical shift by using formula, and the position of peaks in NMR spectra is relative to the reference peak and is expressed in terms of chemical shift. So this is the formula: chemical shift is equal to H0 means frequency in megahertz, H0 frequency magnetic field, H0 reference minus H0 sample into 10 to the power 6 divided by H0 reference in ppm. The value of H0 reference is usually greater than the value of H0 sample. So this value is usually greater than this value, and therefore subtraction always give positive value. However, when we want to calculate the chemical shift in terms of frequency, so the value of delta will be new reference minus new sample into 10 to the power divided by new reference into 10 to the power of 6. So this will be, when we observe that this will be in megahertz, this will be in megahertz, and this also will be in megahertz. So when we used to do minus between subtract between these two, we'll get only we'll get value in hertz only, and this value will get in megahertz. So overall the value will become into 10 to the power of minus 6. So this will be very less amount, and that's why to make the chemical shift dimensionless, and it is very difficult to calculate in 10 to the power minus 6. So we are multiplying this equation with 10 to the power of 6, and we are getting chemical shift value in ppm form. So here you can observe the few molecules are over here, then like TMS and this benzene is there, and dichloroethylene, and so many molecules are there. So they all molecules have specific chemical environment, and they give different of resonance signal at a different position of chemical shift. When we increase the magnetic field at fixed frequency, or increase frequency at fixed magnetic field, or increase shielding by extra nuclear electrons. So this is the pictorial representation, and by using this I'm trying to explain the proton chemical shift range. So it start from 0.0 ppm. TMS comes here, and as you can see that for LK the value is, it start from 1.2 to 1.6 or 7, and for RCOH, for acidic group, it comes from 10 to 12, but for carbonyl group it comes nearby 9 to 10, or 9.5 to 10. However, in case of aromatic proton, here you can simply observe that it comes between 6 to 8, as we have seen the example of benzene, and usually it gives NMR peak at 7, approximate 7 position, 7 ppm. And for various other examples, you can observe that for RC triple bond CH acetylene or ethine, we will observe the NMR peak would be from 0.9 to 1.9. And for various kind of molecule, you will observe for ROH, start from this one 0.8 to 5.5. And because the value is vary from this to this, and this R for ROS, this value is start from 0.8 to 0.8 to approx 5.5, due to presence of various kind of electronegative element attached with the nuclei, or an isotropic effect on various parameters are there which decide the chemical shift of that particular proton. Thank you for watching, and we'll describe it in later in my part 4.